let us consider various types of forces in nature. All the forces in nature are divided into four groups, which are gravitational force, second one electromagnetic force, third one strong interaction, and last one is a weak interaction. Now let us begin with the gravitational force, and this was the first to be studied in details, and it has the different properties like first it is always attractive, second one it is inversely proportional to square of distance between two massive bodies, third one it is the central force, that is gravitational force is directed along the line joining center of two bodies. The next property of gravitational force is of all four forces in nature, gravitational force is weakest force. The next property, it is a long range force, that is it operates over a very long distance. Next one, it is a conservative force. Now let us consider the second type of the force or category of the force, that is electromagnetic force. This force includes electric and magnetic forces. Electric force of interaction is between the two charged bodies, while magnetic force of interaction is between the two magnets. The contact forces, including the normal force, friction force, viscous force, fluid resistance, are all electromagnetic forces, and this is because all atoms contains positive and negative charges, and so atom and molecules exert the electric forces to each other. Magnetic forces occur in an interaction between magnets, but this force is of electromagnetic category because magnetic interaction results due to the motion of electric charges. It has certain properties like one, it may be the attractive or repulsive. Second property is that it is inversely proportional to square of the distance between two massive bodies. Third property is that it is central force, that is electromagnetic force is directed along a line joining the center of two bodies. Next property is it is a long range force. Next one, it is conservative force, and last property, it is about 10 raised to 39 times stronger than gravitational force. The next category of forces is the strong interaction. This interaction exists inside the nucleus, so it is called nuclear force also. The interaction is responsible for holding the nucleus of atom together. This is the strong attractive force between proton-proton, proton-neutron and neutron-neutron. This interaction is strong enough to counterbalance the electrostatic repulsion between the protons, and this force is a short range force and exists over a very short distance of the order of 10 raised to minus 15 meters only. Then the last category of forces is the weak interaction, and this interaction plays no direct role on the behavior of ordinary matter. The weak interaction appears only in certain nuclear processes such as beta decay of nucleus. The weak nuclear force is much stronger than that of the gravitational force. Now there is one more force which is called pseudo force or the fictitious force, which is considered in a separate category, and we know that the non-inertial frames are accelerated frames. And in these accelerated frames, there are always forces associated with them which are called pseudo forces or fictitious forces. These forces arises when Newtonian mechanics is applied to describe the motion of object in non-inertial frames. They are so named because these forces do not arise by any actual forces like gravitational force, electromagnetic force, or nuclear forces acting on the objects, and these forces arises in non-inertial frames due to the acceleration of the frames. Moreover, if we view the objects from inertial frame, these forces disappear and the concept, however, help us to view the events from non-inertial means accelerating frames. Pseudo forces or fictitious forces on an object in a non-inertial frame which acts in the direction opposite to the direction of force and which is viewed from the inertial frame. So, pseudo forces are very real to those that experience them. Now, in order to understand the concept of pseudo forces or fictitious forces, let us consider motion of S dash frame with respect to S frame as shown in this figure. Consider the reference frame S dash in moving with acceleration a0 bar with respect to frame S, and if frame S is inertial frame, then the frame S dash will be non-inertial frame and vice versa. Let us consider a particle P at point P in S dash frame and it is in motion. The velocity observed by observer in S frame is V bar and that of observer in the frame S dash is V dash bar. Using the law of addition of velocities, we get the equation V dash bar is equal to V bar minus U bar, where U bar is velocity of S dash frame relative to S frame and it changes with time as frame is accelerating. Now, differentiating this equation with respect to time, we get dV dash bar by dt is equal to dV bar by dt minus du bar by dt. And since u bar is velocity of S dash, we get du bar by dt is equal to a0 bar. Therefore, a dash bar is equal to a bar minus a0 bar, where a bar is equal to dV bar by dt and a dash bar is equal to dV dash bar by dt are the accelerations of particle observed by two observers situated in a frame S and S dash respectively and which are in relative motion with respect each other with acceleration a0 bar. If we multiply throughout this equation by m, then we get the new equation m a dash bar is equal to m a bar minus m a0 bar, and therefore f dash bar is equal to f bar minus f0 bar, and the force f bar is equal to ma bar is observed in inertial frame S. The total force f dash bar acting on a particle as observed by observer in S dash frame is given by the equation f dash bar is equal to f bar minus f0 bar, and the net acceleration is given by the equation a dash bar is equal to a bar minus a0 bar. The force f0 bar is equal to minus m a0 bar is the so-called fictitious force, and this force does not actually exist, but it simply represents the effect of acceleration of the non-inertial frame itself. The fictitious force f0 bar is equal to minus m a0 bar acts in opposite direction to the force f bar is equal to ma bar observed in inertial frame. Now, there are number of examples of fictitious force in our everyday life. So, let us consider few examples. Let us first consider the first example, that is, let the passengers are seated in moving car, and when the speed of the car is increased, the passengers inside the car feel themselves to tug to their back. Also, when brakes are suddenly applied, the passengers are pushed forward, and no such a feeling is observed when the speed of car is constant, and force observed by the passengers during the acceleration and deceleration of the car is called fictitious force. The observer standing on a ground, that is the inertial frame, does not observe this force. Second example is that consider a man standing loosely in a moving bus. If the bus is quickly turned in a circular track to the left, the man experiences outward force to the right, and this force is pseudo force. This force is experienced by a body in the reference frame of an accelerated bus, and therefore this force is observed due to the acceleration of the bus. Now let us consider third example, that is, let us discuss the force experienced by a man in an elevator. When the lift is at rest, the weight of the man is mg, where m is the mass of the man and g is acceleration due to gravity. If the lift moves in downward direction with acceleration a, the fictitious force acting on a man is in upward direction inside the lift is minus ma, and thus weight of the man becomes m into bracket g minus a, and if a equals g, the net weight of man is 0 and he feels weightlessness. If the lift is moving upward with acceleration a in upward direction, the fictitious force on a man is ma. The weight of man will increase to mg plus a. In both the cases, fictitious force is ma, but in opposite direction. The next important example is consider the centrifuge machine, which is one of the most useful laboratory instrument used to separate the liquids of different densities in a mixture. The mixture is put in a vessel which is revolved rapidly in a circular path about the axis, and the more massive liquid experiences a larger centrifugal force mv square by r and moves further away from the axis of rotation, and the lightest liquids settle close to the axis of rotation, and the centrifuge thus uses the pseudo force or fictitious force to separate the liquids by the mass. In this way, this is one more force which is also important.